rather. Thomas Enquist, the seed, in 3 straight sets. Uli Rock in straight sets. Paul Haarhuis of Netherlands in straight sets. And that amazing quarterfinal match against Radulescu, 6-4 in the 5th, after being down 2 match points. And we asked Malavia what he thought about his match against the number 13 seed Todd Martin, and this is what Washington had to say.
We've played each other before. I think I think the last 3 days we've been warming each other up. I think I know what he does. He knows what I do. And may the best man win.
Well, Todd Martin, the number 13 seed here, height 1.98 meters, big boy, age 25, current ranking is 18. And he's right-handed, of course, $3.7 million in prize money. This is the way he got there. First round against Marcus Andruska of South Africa, Jimmy Grab, an American, Renzo Ferlin from Italy, Tommy Johansson in 4 sets, and then the big British hope, Tim Henman, in straight sets. And Malavia Washington, his first appearance in a Grand Slam semi-final, and what a tournament to do it in. Wimbledon Championships. And he has a chance in this match. Of course, I think it's going to be fairly even, this match, Andrea. As a matter of fact, Todd Martin, being the seeded player, should be a bit of the favorite. What do you think?
That's an interesting way to look at it, Vijay. But I do agree with you. I think Todd Martin, he has experience. He has the one victory. They've only met once before. Washington mentioned that they have practiced together. But Washington hasn't been in this circumstance too often. Todd Martin has played Davis Cup, although the 1996 Olympic team includes Washington and not Todd Martin, interestingly enough.
As Mishishka, Washington, Malavia's brother. And what's his name, the guy right behind him, the agent? I keep forgetting his name every time I see him. I don't know what his name is. But he's Washington's agent from Advantage International.
That's Dean Goldfein, who is working with Todd Martin, good friend of his.
And who are all these other people sitting in the players' box?
Lost, probably. They just said, oh, that's the supporters' box. I'm going to go
Let's just go sit over there.
No, I'm sure those are big supporters for Todd Martin. Both players coming from Michigan. Both players held #1 collegiate rankings.
They've only played once. That's very strange. They've only played once, these two guys. Last met, 94 Australian Open. Martin won 6-2, 7-6, 7-6. Martin is good on those tiebreakers. Yesterday he won 2 against Tim Henman.
1 minute. 1 minute.
7-6, 7-6, first 2. Because he's got a pretty good all-round game. Perhaps his weakest point is possibly his movement. But he's a big man, 6'6", tough to lob him. Doesn't have very quick hands, but very good forehand, backhand, volleys. A complete player, great serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Martin won the toss and elected to serve first.
Todd Martin's weakness is Washington's strength. He's very quick around the court, moves exceptionally well. It presents a different atmosphere having all these players played yesterday. Normally they have a day off in between. There's a lot of excitement brewing, men's semifinals day, but every day has been a day of matches.
The funny thing is, I spoke to a friend of mine who's coming in for the semifinals today from Paris. And the guy said to me, so the semifinals. And I said, Becker plays Agassi and Sampras plays Ivanisevic. So the guy's jumping up and down. He's got these tickets to come to the semifinals. He doesn't know who's in the semifinals. I didn't tell him.
Oh no.
I mean, if he doesn't know who's in the semifinals, he deserves to come here and find out. Don't you agree?
I agree.
I think so. Well, this is a very special day for both these players. Todd Martin has been in the semi-final of Wimbledon once before, but certainly
first set,
not in a position of where he
Todd
is
Martin to serve.
He's up against Malavia Washington.
Play.
And first game. mix it up.
15 love.
You think Martin is a very exciting player?
No.
How do you really feel about it?
He gets the job done, and he's such a sweet guy.
He is
I
a
mean,
very sweet guy.
gentleman on and off court, but he doesn't bring that electricity like Andre
13
Agassi does to the game. When you look at all the 4 semifinalists, none of them do.
He's a very nice guy. I was sending my boys back home, back to the hotel rather, from Wimbledon yesterday, and I had to send them with an adult. So Todd was in the transportation room, and he said, "Oh, Vijay, I'll take the boys back."
Oh, that's
Which is very sweet. That's
Yeah.
Todd Martin, isn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely. So did they get back to the hotel?
I called just to make sure. Well played. Good volley, Martin.
14 love.
Well, you just listened to Todd Martin in his press conferences, and he's happy to be here. He's one of those players that every round he wins, he's excited about it, he appreciates it, and he continues through his career with a lot of success. Looks a lot older than 25, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Like those could have been his children. They're going back with him.
40-15.
Would you say this is probably the weakest crowd ever at Wimbledon on a semi-final day for the men's singles?
Yes. I mean, there's more seats open than there are full. And that's such a problem for these players. I mean, they like excitement.
Good serve from not very dark.
They're fluffy today.
Fluffy.
Light
I hope
and fluffy.
I hope it stays fluffy.
You play today.
We play third match, I think. Good return from
Love
Martin.
15.
This man was down 2 match points yesterday against Radulescu of Germany, and squeaked his way out of it. 6-4 in the 5th.
This is Washington's only 2nd semifinal of the year. The other one was in Bermuda. I doubt Sampras or
Love 13.
Courier or Chang or Agassi was at that tournament. Might have been easier to get through.
He won it.
Yes.
And he said how nice an event that was in Hamilton. So it was his first double fault. Love 30, right away in trouble, Washington. Oh, just in.
$15-30.
This is Washington's 27th career Grand Slam. Nowhere near Edberg's amount.
His first appearance on the center court for Washington. Oh, that is a fine pass.
Yes.
15-4.
And this forehand pass from Todd Martin, sharp angle cross court, gives him 2 break points. Great return.
Success again on the forehand
Martin.
side. It's the easiest place
Martin
to
leads
hit the
by 2
return
games
when
to
you're
0.
pulled out wide. Todd Martin holds 5 career titles, 1 on grass. That was in 1994, Queen's Club. And who did he beat, Vijay?
Who did he beat in 1994?
Pete Sampras.
Good win to win Queen's Club. I watched Malavia play Sampras in an exhibition match in Hurlingham the week before Wimbledon, where we played a little senior event.
And Washington won that.
Washington beat him.
Love 15.
But have you watched the event before the Australian Open and how many upsets there are at that event?
Absolutely, but I was just thinking that, watching him play there, that Washington would actually do well at Wimbledon. And he has. Washington lives at the home of the ATP Tour. Ponte Vedra Beach in Florida.
He's the ATP president, correct?
And I said,
He took over your spot.
15 all.
An ace for Todd Martin.
30-15.
the Duke of Kent with the dark glasses in the front row. And the chairman of the All England Club, John Curry.
I run into him a lot. I ran into him at 8:15 the other morning. He goes, "My, you get here early."
He's a very nice man, John
He
Curry.
is. Always pleasant. Todd Martin winning 100% of his points that he gets his first serve in. Oh, that
Just in.
very close to the line. Now Todd Martin
14,
only getting
15.
in 33% of his first serves. Let's take a closer look, see. No, don't have a chance to look at that.
Even yesterday against Tim Henman, he started with the first serve percentages nearing single digits.
Lands in. It was a wise choice for Todd Martin to let that go. He had to jump in the air and hit the harder shot.
14,
High
30.
backhand volley. Couldn't have done much with it, and it did look like it was going long. A miss hit from Washington, and just hits the baseline. That was a great get by Washington, but not good enough. And the players change
Todd
it.
Martin,
Again, Martin.
hold serve.
Martin.
This man, Malavia Washington. Down love 3 in this first set. Martin already with the break of serve.
Great return from Todd Martin, stepped right in.
Love 15.
Washington has gotten in 67% of his first serves, but he's only winning 25% of that. So Todd Martin taking everything to Washington. Martin with 100% of his returns going in. Really puts pressure on the server. Well, that will
15
change
all.
now. This is his first return of the match.
Todd Martin off to a good start. This first set. Good serve, ace number 1 for Washington.
30-15.
Wasn't he voted one of the 50 most beautiful people once, Washington? People magazine? I remember seeing his picture without a shirt on in the magazine. I'm sure he's not thinking about that right now.
You saw his picture without his shirt on.
Yes.
The shirt was just a picture.
40-15.
Because I haven't seen it.
It was a couple years ago.
Oh, really? You read that stuff, don't you? People magazine, News of the World, The Sun.
If I don't read the paper every morning, I'm a different person. I like knowing about the news.
Good forehand.
Again, Todd Martin going decisively down the line.
40-30.
Washington appears to be part of this match, but really not in contention of it.
Well, he's not quite in it just yet. I think he's still very nervous about being out there. Oh, what a point! And we thought that Martin didn't have quick hands.
You thought that Martin didn't have quick hands.
And we thought that Martin didn't have quick hands.
Deuce.
Both players showing what they can do up at net, and Todd Martin moving
Well done.
so smooth. So to deuce. Washington has not held serve yet. He has not won a game yet in this match, down 3-love.
Oh, well played.
He decided to stay back. Todd Martin was trying to take advantage, coming in, taking the net
Advantage
away.
Washington.
And just didn't get enough on that approach shot. Sat up, too much topspin.
What a pass.
Deuce.
Todd Martin has hit already 10 clean winners. Many off the forehand side.
Well played.
Advantage Washington.
Well played. And a good game there from Malavia, especially those last two serve and volley points. Should give him a bit more
Game Washington.
confidence and
Martin
stay a little
leads
more
by 3
relaxed
games to 1.
to get right back into the set. He's down a break, 3-1 to Martin first set. Very nice guys, both these guys, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Good representatives of the US. There's the return.
Todd Martin did not get enough on his serve. He tried to go out
Block
wide.
15.
Didn't get the short angle or the speed that he needed.
That's a fine volley. Tough volley to play, but Martin played it with a lot of control.
15 all.
This is Martin's third semifinal of 1996 and has not lost in the semis when he has gotten that far.
Good serve. Ace number 3 for Martin.
30-15.
Oh, that volley looked pretty shaky there.
40-15.
Good deep volley. Obviously was just in. Oh, he was there.
Game Martin.
Well, after 17 minutes, Martin up. The number 13 seed, Todd Martin against Malavia, Washington. You're watching Wimbledon on Star Sports. Andrew Yeager, myself, Vijay Amatraj.
15 love.
Washington down 1-4 in this first set. Martin again is a good front runner. He plays the tight situations well, as he did yesterday in the 2 tiebreakers. Did you see that one set point that Tim Henman had in that first set yesterday, when Martin served an ace, which was called a fault? That's a clever shot from Martin. And the umpire overruled it on set point.
15
Yes.
all.
Using the entire length of the court there.
A lot of topspin on that stroke. He held it to the last possible moment. Nothing Washington could do.
Good serve.
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 trivia questions on Todd Martin.
30,
Who was his
15.
coach prior to Dean Goldfine? That's an easy one. You can
Nick
answer.
Bollettieri. Sorry, he plays too clean. Oh, how could I forget? Robert Van Hoff, of course.
Right?
14,
And Robert's
15.
now working with Lindsay Davenport.
Yes.
Good serve out wide and follows it in nicely. But this is a problem with having an early break. As well as Washington's playing now, he's still down 4-1. The second question is, what was his highest singles ranking ever, and on what date did he hold that ranking? You can do year. Volley falls wide. Opened up his
40,
wrist
30.
and the racket head.
Somewhere in 1994.
Yes, that's correct. And what was the ranking?
Well, he wasn't 1, 2, or 3. Could have been 4 or 5. I'll go with 5.
You are right. Well done, BJ. So
Deuce.
now to deuce. Washington questioning a call, but doesn't get anywhere with it. Martin hits the forehand off the frame. He had the open court, and BJ, what did you think?
Well, that was it. I thought that was it.
It was called out.
Was it called out?
It was called out. It's deuce.
Where are these lines people sitting?
I think those beeps are because they call in their line calls or something.
It's amazing.
I wonder.
Washington stayed back. Wide. Well, I suppose you can stay back just to mix it up,
Advantage
but
Washington.
you wouldn't want to see Todd Martin find his way to the net.
Oh, he had that volley. He did not stop.
Deuce.
Cut off the angle nicely. Just took his eye off the ball. Here it is. He's in position. And the disappointment shows on his face.
Good volley. You know, we often say in the U.S. he's an
Advantage
All-American
Washington.
from Stanford or wherever. Why don't you tell our viewers what All-American means? Because I don't.
Okay, I will after this point. It's a winner from Washington. All-American is
Game Washington.
a term used
Martin
in
leads by 4
collegiate
games to
tennis,
2.
and You have to have academic prowess. You have to be successful in some area in sports. So they have designated results that you have to achieve in whatever sport it is. Whether you're in football, you have to have gotten selected to a certain amount of teams or competitions. Same thing in tennis. You have to have achieved something in the NCAAs. And normally, if you're the top in your sport, top 5 in your sport, you will achieve that, even if it's in your state. But each sport has their different regularities.
And does the college award it?
It's all designated by the NCAAs, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association.
I've always wanted to ask somebody that, you know, and I haven't.
First service.
I'm glad you cleared that up for me. Because often we tell our viewers, you know, he's an All-American from Stanford or Berkeley or wherever, and I never knew what it meant. It was 4-2, 15 love for Martin, first set.
Well, they have to award the collegiate players something for staying in college and studying.
It's long.
15 all.
Fastest serve of the match so far has gone to Todd Martin at 117 miles per hour. And if someone woke up this morning very discouraged, it was Goran. Out of the tournament, this was his chance to win Wimbledon. I don't know if he'll ever do it.
I tell you, he was so upset and disappointed in the locker room yesterday. It was unbelievable. He was absolutely near to tears. And his father was holding him by his face. And it was really a sad sight. Pulls it wide.
Holding him by his
13,
face in a
15.
good reason or in a,
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't do this.
Well, no, it seemed like he was really consoling him. And it was a very, you know, it was obviously he was very disappointed as soon as he saw Sampras had lost.
Right.
You know, and he was going out to play his match, and
He did say though in press that he needs to work more on his volleys. He just doesn't have the game enough to win at Wimbledon. He can't rely just on his serve. So I was surprised that at least he acknowledged that at such a heart-wrenching moment.
That's a great volley.
Solid volleying from Todd Martin. Does it extremely well.
40-15.
Gets low to the ground, does not bend his back, he bends his knees, and it keeps his wrist firm.
Another good volley from Martin.
Again, Martin.
And Martin
New balls.
just playing real solid on the serve and volley department. Some good coverage. And we are in this first set. Washington actually now serving to stay in this first set with new balls. 2-5. Good volley.
Washington was holding his arm on the changeover, shaking it out.
I think he was stretching
15
more,
love.
hopefully rather than any kind of injury. He stretches a lot, Washington, in the locker room before and after the matches.
Do you stretch, Vijay?
Right now, I'm stretching. I'm
Sorry,
standing
I
up and
didn't
sitting
notice.
down. No, but I liked, you know, I had surgery last month on my right knee, and right up until then, you know, I was, one thing I did regularly was to be
15
able to stretch, especially before I played. And now I'm finding it much harder to stretch, having done this knee operation. I mean, I can't even do squats and sit and get up. You know, maybe it'll take some more time for it to heal, but you've had surgery, haven't you?
7 shoulder surgery,
Oh, God.
hip surgery last November, knee surgery. Anywhere else you'd like to go?
Great return from Martin. Do you just like the hospital you go to?
Oh, it's not been fun,
15,
that's for
30.
sure. Well, Todd Martin blocks this return, doesn't take a full swing. And you can just tell how the smarter player, the more capable player right now is Todd Martin.
30 all.
It's tough to serve and volley against this man unless the second serve has a bit of zip on it. Oh, not by much.
40,
You can
30.
see a pattern starting to develop. Todd Martin again with the forehand down the line return. Chance to hold for Washington, try to make Todd Martin serve out the first set.
Well played.
In Washington.
Katrina Adams next to Washington's
Martin leads by 5 games
brother?
to 3.
She's still in the women's doubles competition with Marianne de Schwart. Of course, a lot of people are still in the doubles competition. They haven't played a whole lot of matches.
Amazing. The weather forecast is not very good for today either.
No, I'm surprised that it's been so bright out.
The number 13 seed serving for the first set.
38%, and the first serve's going in for Todd Martin.
Love 15.
His first double fault, but you know, even yesterday, his first set percentages in the first set very, very low. How does he get away winning the first set if it's that low? Because he's then relying on the second serve and a good volley.
Well, if he was playing Pete Sampras, he would not be allowed to get away with that. Playing Tim Henman. Henman had a lot of pressure on him. His forehand was shaky.
Well played. Held it till the last minute, Washington.
Love 30.
Washington quick to get to this drop volley. And Todd Martin really could do nothing else with the volley. It was low to his feet. It was going to be popped up. Washington realizing it and taking already a few steps in before the ball was struck.
He's put it out. Well, what a quick turnaround
Love
here
40.
on the serve of Todd Martin. As he serves for the first set, that forehand error gives Washington 3 chances to break the Martin serve.
Washington has had no break points up to this point of the match.
Well played, a good return from Malavia. It's up 5-2. Serve for the set at 5-3. Washington played a good game, aided by 1 double fault from Martin. And now Washington on serve, trying to stay in the first set. Deployed.
15 love.
Another fine lob.
Well, at the start of the second point, Washington said, get your
15.
first serve in. He doesn't, and because of that, puts himself in this position. Todd Martin, the running forehand, and last minute brings his racket head up, gets the extra height on the ball. 15-all.
30-15.
Well played.
Smart for Washington to hit that volley. He didn't want to take a chance of watching it drop in or out.
40-15.
Todd Martin barely getting to this ball. I'm surprised Todd Martin stayed with a two-handed backhand. One of the taller players on the circuit. Pete Sampras used to have a two-handed backhand and switched over to a one. Krajicek was in a similar situation. Both players even on the returns. Todd Martin has gotten 79% of his in. And this is where it really counts. Washington a point to hold to bring this first set to 5 games all.
What a pass. Stayed low for the backhand there, Martin.
Washington moved just a bit too early.
Deuce.
The return low to his feet, and here he has to make up his mind. What should I do? He shifts to the right. Martin notices it, and with the two-hander, look how low he gets to the ball.
Missed it.
Advantage Washington.
Martin with 19 errors in this match already. Washington with 17.
First service.
Return clips the top of the net. Washington a broken first time out. Martin serving for the set, loses it.
Game
And
Washington.
now
5 games
Five games all.
First set.
38 minutes on court.
$15 love.
That's his 4th ace. That might help his first serve percentage. He's only at 42%. How do you get to the semis of Wimbledon with the potential to get to the finals with 30 and 40% first serves?
30 love.
5th ace. I guess now he's feeling it.
So the door was open. And then the point goes good.
40 love. Again, Martin.
Serve. Washington got back to 5-all. And now, for the 3rd time, Washington will serve to stay in this first set. 5-6.
Is that the trainer looking into his goodie bag?
Love 15.
Good serve.
15 on.
Martin served in the rather Washington, the backhand corner of Martin, stayed back. Which he does quite well. Mixes it up. But he's eventually got to get to the net before Martin does.
Washington down. Seems to be okay.
15-30.
Just like a ballerina.
He was right there.
15-40.
Well, that forehand error from Washington. He had the right serve into the body of Todd Martin and then put the volley out. Now 2 set points for Martin. Oh, well played. Ideal serve and volley. Wide serve
Washington.
to the, sorry, Andrea, wide serve to the forehand.
Well, he's starting to read that
30,
Martin likes
40.
to return his forehand down the line. Leaves the opening. All the way out by the alley, hitting that volley. Still 1 break point, set point for Todd Martin.
Not a smart move,
Game in
staying
first
back
set.
on set
Martin,
point.
7 games to 5.
And then after leading 5-2, losing that lead, making it 5-all, Martin pulls ahead. And after 45 minutes on court, wins the first set 7-5. I'm going to check the matches, Andrea, just to
White,
make sure
please.
that my match doesn't get called up very quickly. And we are due to play our doubles match, believe it or not.
Who are you guys playing today?
We play, the winner of our match gets into the semi-final.
Wow.
Tanner, Roscoe Tanner and Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is too young to play in our group. What do you think?
15 love.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his first year. Actually, he's not 35 yet
Oh, and they're letting him slip in.
to play with Tanner.
You guys, at Wimbledon, you can pick who you would like to play with. Like, at Australia, you can't do that. Correct?
They actually invite you usually as a team.
Oh. Ace for Todd Martin. I'm sure
30 love.
closing out the first set before a tiebreak helped his confidence. That's his 6th ace. Washington with only 1. So where are we on your court? Vijay, have you noticed?
The previous match has just gone on. Navratilova and Stark playing mixed doubles.
40 love.
Court number 3. You know, the thing about Martin is he keeps his serves in about the anywhere between 100 to 105 to about 110, 112. You know, he doesn't crank it at the way Sampras does. Good return. He's a tough man to pass at the net.
40-15.
Last serve was hit at 113 miles per hour. His quickest has been 117, but he's averaging 109.
Well played.
Not up. Game Martin. First game, second set.
Todd Martin, good wide serve. And a shot volley down the line. Was Bill Norris, the ATP Tour trainer, who just gave Malavia a couple of tablets there. And Andrea pointed out earlier that he might have a little trouble with his arm. There's a trainer on the right, Bill Norris. And on the left, Kent Farrar with the walkie-talkie there. just behind the London Bobby. Ken Ferrari, so he's the chief of the supervisors for Wimbledon.
Time.
He hasn't had any arm pain recently, has he?
He's had a long tournament. I mean, for these players, normally yesterday would have been a day off. They did
Normally,
not. They get
these,
that.
normally in this tournament, these players would have been home.
That was very well said.
They're here changing their reservations. They can't get new plane reservations back home, and all these little mini problems they're having for being in the semi-final of Wimbledon. Prize money check is not bad, is it? What's it, somewhere in the £90,000 department? £100,000, somewhere there. That's the toughest part about Martin. He can just use the pace of the serve,
15.
guide it up the line like he did there.
No expression whatsoever on his face. Rarely does he show his emotions.
He does in the player council meetings.
He does.
Well, I mean, as best, as we think Martin can.
An
15
ace for
all.
Washington, only a second. Nicole Arndt is on the board for the women's thing here.
Well,
is
there
the
it is.
list.
I was near 98,000 for the semi-finalists, 392,000 UK British pounds for the winner, 196,000 pounds for the finalist. Back to center court. Missed it.
I was talking to Nicole
30,
Arndt, who's the
15.
treasurer for the Women's Tennis Association, on her board, and she was saying how it's so difficult to attend all the meetings, that not a lot of practice is interrupted, and it really affects her tennis. In your type of situation, being the president as you were for so long, did it affect your tennis performance? Because now Todd Martin is
40,
president of the
15.
council.
I think it's very tough to do it and play competitively like he's doing, because the meetings can be long and arduous, and it's a question of trying to schedule those meetings around his matches, which is very hard to do. And the meetings start at 9, 10 in the morning and can go until 1 a.m. And if you're playing or you have practice lined up, or or neither, you don't want to be sitting, at a boardroom table for so long and discussing issues which go back and forth. Oh, fine forehand from Washington.
Game Washington. 1 game all.
Washington hold serve, and it's 1-all in the second set. Been on court for about 51 minutes.
Todd Martin starting off the service game where he left off.
15 love.
Really is powered in, some top-notch serves.
He makes it over.
$30
See how he does this. Perhaps a miss hit off the frame. I'm not sure if he could have gotten that kind of spin off the strings. No?
No miss hit. Backspinner drop volley into the net.
Perfection.
Just missed it.
30-15.
Ken Farrar and Bill Norris sitting right courtside, just in case of a problem.
40-15.
Well, Washington had broken the Martin serve once in the first set to break back to make it get back to 5-all, but Martin serving bowling well. It's long,
Game Martin.
and Martin holds serve.
Yes.
Thank you. Lob not good enough. Isn't it the
15
worst
love.
feeling to come to this stage in the tournament, like Wimbledon or the Open, and then have a slight problem with some part of your body.
A lot of players have to deal with that, though. I mean, I've never played quarter, semi, or final of a Grand Slam without something lingering about. Todd Martin has had success early in the match with the topspin lobs, but they've been offensive topspin lobs hit with a lot of topspin and plenty of time.
30.
Last 2 points, he's thrown up defensive lobs, and Washington has handled them.
Good serve.
40 love. In
Down the
Washington.
middle.
Ball change.
Third ace for Washington. It's 2 games all
2 games all, second
in the
set.
second set. I was talking to one of the members of the committee of the Olympic Club in the locker room, the guy who takes the players down to the court. And he was saying that Sampras said to him yesterday, in the 6 times that he's played Wimbledon, he's never had weather like this. And he's never known London to be like this, weather-wise. And, you know, it was just something that he couldn't understand, which was something that we put up with all through the 70s and 80s. Oh, fine volley from Washington.
Washington really took command, raced in after the return of serve, took it early,
Love 15.
decides to charge in. Todd Martin, not knowing what to do, blocks the volley and gets stuck. Washington starting to try play more aggressive. A couple breaks of serve in the first set.
First service.
But when Washington did break Todd Martin that first set, he broke him at love.
Love 30.
Well, his second double fault for Martin, but a chance here perhaps for Washington. Love 30. Good serve.
Fifteen 30. First service.
Nice return. And that good backhand return from
15-40.
Washington. Game winner. 2 break points for Washington. Oh, just missed it.
30-40.
He had that chance. This match, Washington's had 1 break point that he's won and 1 that he's lost.
Oh, he missed the return.
Deuce.
Second serve kicked up into his backhand, and Todd Martin decides to stay back. Last time on the second serve on the ad court, he served and volleyed, had to pay the price for it. So wisely deciding to mix it up, brings it to deuce.
Good return from Washington.
Even if that wouldn't have hit the top of the tape, I believe it would have gone right by Todd Martin.
Absolutely. Catching the tape there. Another break point for Washington. Still half empty center court here, which is quite unusual for a men's semi-final. Double fault number 4
Game one.
from, and it was a tight game there on Washington's serve. Washington managing to hold. Martin 2-4. Well, it does mean, I suppose, a lot to Graf. We heard that interview there that
15
she,
love.
as far as winning for the 8th time, perhaps.
But it has been amazing that she's been able to keep her desire so high throughout the years she's been playing on the circuit for some
13.
time. If you can't get motivated for a Grand Slam final, then there's not a whole lot of hope for you. She does it. Arantxa, though, she wants this even more than Steffi Graf.
She does. Good return from
30-15.
Washington.
First service.
Ace number
40-15.
9 for Todd Martin. He either wins his serve decisively or loses it decisively. Not really an in-between.
Game
Well
mark.
done. Ace number 10. Oh, off a deep volley from Washington. What a pass.
He really likes going cross-court on the forehand.
Deuce.
He was hoping this volley would fall long. Doesn't, and he's still in position to make the winner.
Almost hooks it at the last minute. Wide,
Advantage
good
Washington.
serve again from Washington. Oh yes, well played.
Really doesn't get much better than that. Todd Martin taking the net away from Washington.
Deuce.
Washington's mixing up with coming in after a serve. Could have applied the pressure on that point, decided not to.
Well,
Advantage Washington.
went for the topspin lob, couldn't quite control it. Washington has a third set point. Well, Washington finally holds serve, and after an hour and 22 minutes on court, it's 1-7.
And second set, Washington, 6-4.
For a moment there, Andrea, it looked like Martin might run away with a 2-set lead.
One
That
set.
moment has gone far away.
Has passed on. And Olivia Washington holding serve.
15 love.
Serve. Martin serving. It's first game of the third set.
Todd Martin has such a good serve that when he gets broken, it seems more of a lapse of concentration than anything else.
He shouldn't really lose a serve on grass, technically, but that happens constantly.
I'm surprised he hits this overhead because the ball was going wide. Didn't want to take any chances, but was lucky to get away with it.
Trying to clear
40 love.
the high part of the net. Well played.
And Martin. First game, first
Todd
set.
Martin holds serve, the first game of the third set. And when we return, Andrea Jaeger will be joined.
Piece. Stoltenberg and Krajicek. I'm sure already waiting in the wings, keeping an eye on the monitor, just how long this one's going to go. It looks as though set apiece could go 5 sets. They were saying they're great buddies. They obviously know each other's game inside out. I mean, this is where it's sort of so difficult. You've got two fairly evenly matched players out there.
Does come down to a point here or there. Washington in the second set won 9 points up at net and
15
lost only 4. Lost 13 points up at net in the first set.
A double bounce.
No, it was
15.
wide.
Oh, it's called wide. Huh?
Yes. Quick hands from Washington. Martin with the swinging volley and
Oh yeah.
waits for the ball to bounce. Called wide. This is what we've been seeing with Todd Martin. He turns it on and hits
15,
winners,
40.
and then once in a while turns it off and
Goes to-
misses.
Goes to sleep.
He doesn't take a big backswing on the backhand side. He's able to just guide it down the line.
Set that one up nicely. Down the middle, prepared for the angled volley, and put it away.
Yeah, Martin. Martin leads by 2 games.
Whenever
to
Washington gets past coming into net, he elects to stay back and Todd Martin took advantage of it, an early break. He had an early break in the first set. Served for it at 5-4, but couldn't hold on. So really has to keep his concentration now. Players on court just about an hour and a half, hour and 28 minutes.
Nice change down in pace.
15 love.
What happened to Kamiko?
She doesn't start as quick as Graf.
No.
If she would have played her third set yesterday,
She would have won. Could have won.
she definitely could have won.
Yeah.
I mean, she was playing excellent tennis, doing nothing wrong. And Graf was starting to fall apart. But that's just part of Wimbledon.
Part of the deal, isn't it?
It was getting dark. They stopped the outside courts as well.
So in many
30
respects,
love.
you know, she might look at all those rain delays and think, well, if we'd have got on court at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, played the same way, she may have had a chance.
Also, though, you have to look at it that Graf was up 2-love, and she was rushing to get the match in. So
Yeah.
perhaps she wouldn't have played as quickly.
Yeah.
40 love.
That's 11th ace for Todd Martin. And again, a 40-love game for Todd Martin. When he concentrates, puts his mind to the task, he gets it done.
But as you say, Andrea, you know, all the ifs and buts, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's interesting. You can make hypothetical judgments on what may or may not have been, but the simple fact is you've got to come and you've got to be ready to play.
Again, Martin. Ball change. He wins.
It's interesting, though, both these two semi-finalists had
Martin leads by 3 games to love.
quarterfinals
First set.
yesterday.
1 set.
Yesterday, they were even flat yesterday during that Henman match. They never got
It started,
into it.
yeah,
never
the
got
match
up.
started too early.
He
11
was.
o'clock starts when they're so used to 2 o'clock, really changes the atmosphere and the electricity in the air.
$15 love.
I suppose at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's in the final or who's in whatever match, as long as it's a good one. Who would have thought that Kamiko Date, Steffi Graf would have been as good as it was yesterday?
$15 all.
I really admired what Pete Sampras did say in the press conference, though, because he said his dream was winning Wimbledon once, and now he seems to appreciate winning 3 in a row a lot more. I don't know if he would have appreciated as much if he didn't have the kind of year and a half that he's had with his
First service.
coach who was battling cancer.
Washington's 4th ace.
30-15. $40-15.
Really have a hard time distinguishing who has the edge in this match, because just when you think Todd Martin's going to run away with it, Washington comes back and does something.
Well, the lob far too shallow. Washington holds serve. Now
Martin leads by
3-1
3
to
games
Todd
1.
Martin in this third set. It's a set apiece.
Todd Martin has won so many points off the lob, but they're more the ground stroke offensive topspin lobs. That was more a blocked volley that he was hoping to get over Washington's head.
In
15
other
love.
sports, they always used to say, I mean, certainly in soccer, you get competitions there. People say it's worse to lose in the semi-finals. Is that Mr. Cruz?
That is Tom Cruise. Well done, his wife, Nicole Kidman.
Haven't seen the film.
30 love.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
I did.
I have to wait till it's on the plane.
Oh, that's going to be a while.
$30-15.
5 double faults for Todd Martin. He's getting his service percentage up. He started in the 30s. Second set was 40s, now at 54%.
Great return by Washington. A lot of power in that double-fisted backhand.
30 up.
Smooth service motion. He did not get inside the service box. And often when he kicks that serve to Washington's backhand, he's getting into trouble.
Oh. 40-30.
Only one service break in this third set.
Martin.
Martin
leads
holds.
by 4 games to 1.
4-1.
One set.
Smile with this person before I hit a ball. So things definitely change when you go from the semis to the finals.
That was long.
15 love.
Extremely athletic.
Well, he went up, decided to leave it, made the right choice. I was starting to say earlier in other sports, people say if you get to the semi, it's worse losing in the semi-finals than it is in the final.
Oh, for sure.
Because, I mean, okay, it sounds obvious that you've got one more round, but at least you've got to the final. You've been there on the last day, you know, you've enjoyed the moment. It's the most frustrating thing to get so close.
But you never know if you're going to win if you don't at least get there.
Yeah.
40 love.
But I wonder how many of this last four here, I mean, none of them probably dreamt of being in the final. They're starting to panic about the thought, well, I've got this far, this could be my best shot, I better not lose. You know, starting to think negatively as opposed to being positive about the game.
Well, Krajicek, in a way, has the best chance
Yeah,
because
Martin.
he's beaten Pete Sampras, who's won it 3
Martin
times.
leads
But
by
that
4
doesn't mean
games to 2.
anything when it comes down to it. Doesn't help him hit the ball any better today or if he gets to the finals. Todd Martin has had a lot of experience because he's played in Davis Cup, and that's an extreme amount of pressure on you. You're playing for your country.
He has been in a Grand Slam final before in Australia.
1994.
15 love.
Well, you start getting some bad bounces towards the second week of the competition. We saw a lot of those with Date and Graf. Yeah.
On the line.
He really does well on that backhand volley.
30 love.
I believe one of the toughest shots to hit. High ball. Gets the angle right on the line. You can see it smack on the line.
you're talking about the surface, the TV tends to flatten everything out from this sort of angle, and just, you know, the fact that you don't have that real three-dimensional quality. I was just looking down on the court watching this match just before I came in, and it looks like a football pitch. I mean, it's cut up.
40
It
love.
looks pretty rough down the middle.
Uh-oh, clouds are coming in.
Oh yeah, no, they've been around for a while. Can't see it in the commentary box, you can't see the sky, but there's plenty of black sky around.
Always on his toes. Todd Martin, even though he's not the best mover around the court, he's aware of what he needs to do. He's not flat-footed.
(40-15).
Well, a taste of his own medicine. Melvia Washington hanging on, down 4-2.
40-30.
And the advantage of having those ground strokes, you can whip it cross court. He's done that successfully. And then look at the concentration in his eyes. Leans backwards, takes some of the speed off the ball.
Game Martin. Wait.
It's so smart now to hit the short volleys. It's a little tough to get
15
your
love.
footing. The ball tends to stay down a lot more in the second week. That's his third double
15.
fault to only 4 aces. He has served the quickest serve in this match, 118 miles per hour.
He served much better yesterday to Radulescu.
Well, he's been having some arm problems on changeovers. He's been stretching it and asked the trainer for some anti-inflammatory tablets.
Well, that's half the problem of
30-15.
playing a 5-set match yesterday. It actually took about 6.5 hours with all the interruptions, delays, the warming up.
(40-15).
Great second serve. He really has the ability to get up after the serve. He uses his legs,
Martin leads by 5 games
goes
to
up
3.
after the ball and gets it short and wide. That is the trick. It's one thing to hit your serve wide and deep, but if you can get it short and wide, you really throw your opponent off.
Stan Smith was pointing out yesterday just how well he keeps his head up when he serves. You know, the tendency is when as you bring your arm over is to sort of drop your head, try and get a bit of extra power on it. That tends to pull it down into the net.
Todd Martin served at 5-3 up in the first set. Lost his serve.
Love 15.
Very rarely does he hold serve and lose the first point. Just misses. Now love 30. Washington not giving up.
Love 30.
Martin just seems to have a little bit of trouble finding that extra gear. Just that little bit of explosive power to close out the set. That's good enough. I think it caught the outside of the line.
13th ace for Todd Martin.
15-30.
Washington went over to try and see some sort of mark. So it doesn't matter at Wimbledon. It's not like Roland Garros where you can invite the chair umpire to come down and examine the mark. They won't get out at Wimbledon, will they? Washington now 2 break points.
15-14.
He was just way off the court. Todd Martin did not do enough with it. Could not get back in time.
First service.
He's not be able to get a first serve in, is he? Game, he needs it.
Oh, 30-40.
Washington has never been beyond Wimbledon's second round. This is quite an improvement.
I was thinking of Radulescu yesterday.
Never.
I mean, this has been the story of Wimbledon '96, isn't it? He missed it.
Game Washington.
Serving for the set. Can't hold serve. Malavia Washington blows kisses up to some spectators in the stand.
That answer. If Washington would get to the finals, he would be the first African-American to get there since 1975 when Arthur Ashe did. But to answer your question, as we look at Washington's volley, drop the racket head. There's no way the ball could have gotten over the net. Good serve from Washington. He decided to stay back. Hit it at 114 miles per hour. It's the 5th time in Wimbledon history that there have been 2 or more unseeded semifinalists. Washington now becoming more consistent and staying back on his serve. Todd Martin is becoming aware of that. Hoping to close out this 3rd set.
Oh, well played.
The more natural motion would have been to hit that ball cross court to the forehand side. Washington goes the opposite direction, has a winner. Service motion of Washington, springing forward.
Great return. Came right into the body, and he was well
13-40.
prepared with a double fister. That's a great shot. That sets up break point, set point. Couldn't do it on his own serve. Let's see if he can do it off Malavia Washington's. Too good.
What a response. Washington on set point against him, hits an ace, his 6th.
Deuce.
Great stop volley.
This match is starting to get
Advantage
intense. Washington broke back, and here, good touch. Todd Martin well behind the baseline when this happened, and not an easy shot to hit. Just opened the face of the racket, kept his balance. Same type of volley,
Deuce.
but he went with depth on it and went for too much. The set is at 32 minutes. First set took 45 minutes, 7-5 to Martin. Second set 37 minutes, 6-4 to Washington.
Well, he's been particularly impressive on those high putaways.
Again, he elects to serve
Washington.
out wide to Todd Martin's forehand.
Deuce.
Why he doesn't serve and volley in that particular situation, I have no idea. It's a good first serve. And
White,
gets in
please.
trouble at the baseline.
Thank you.
He was certainly much more willing to serve and volley yesterday against Radulescu, and Radulescu's got a big return, maybe not as consistent as Todd Martin's.
Advantage Washington.
He's hit some very good second serves, Malavia Washington. There's another one of them. That'll do. 5 games apiece.
In Washington. 5 games all. Lot 15. $15 all. 15-30.
Well, that was after a bad bounce. Washington recovered very quickly. No way of telling where he was going to hit that. Kept his eye on the ball. Gave no indication with the shape of his body. The way he angled his body for the shot.
That was an important point for Todd Martin, down 15-30.
30
Last
all.
time up, he was serving for the set. He seems to age a lot more in these matches than Washington.
2 hours they've been on call.
Chance to hold now for Todd Martin. Still at 56% of getting his first serves in. He's hit 20 volley winners in this match. It's only 13 from Washington.
Now, why couldn't he have done that last time
Game Martin.
when he was serving for the match? Brought back well, breaking Todd Martin's serve when Martin was in a position to serve out the match. Sorry, serve out the set.
White, please. Thank you.
Todd Martin
15
seems to fall apart under pressure. Twice he's served for a set, lost a serve. Here, that was an easy forehand and barely gets to the net. Nothing to be done on that point for Todd Martin. It was just too good from Washington.
30 love.
Gets his first serve in. He knows how important that is.
Oh dear, wide open court.
40 love.
We saw Malavia Washington make a shot from just about an identical position the previous service game. He just held his racket out. There, Martin was trying to help it over. And in doing so, helped it into the net. 40 love.
$40-15.
If you're going to double fault, best time is at 40 love.
Yeah.
Still 2 points to hold serve and go into a third set tiebreak.
Game Washington.
Ace number 7. We're just looking at the second serves.
6 games solved. Third set tiebreak. Martin to serve.
I mean, I've been thinking Washington's actually just been serving very well on second serve, yet Todd Martin has a much better percentage of points won on second serve.
That's practically all he's hitting, though, is second serves. Except for his 14 aces. Todd Martin with the better tiebreak record. He's played more. He's won 11. Lost 9. Washington won 5, lost 6.
Good first point against the serve.
Todd
1-0.
Martin hit a soft
Washington.
second serve right down the center. And it's starting to sprinkle down. Who knows if they'll be able to get this tiebreak in before the rain comes. Alan Mills, the referee, waiting. Oh, again successful with the forehand cross court. He drops it so short in the court. Washington talking to the chair umpire, asking if we're supposed to continue. And this is where it does get difficult. Tiebreak situation. There's a lot of points to be played.
Ladies
First
and
one to
gentlemen, would you
7.
please be quiet during the rally? Thank you.
Well, he's more interested in the skies. Emphatic finish from Washington.
The mini break
2-1.
returned.
Washington.
So back on serve, and again that short serve. Todd Martin knows where he's going, but no hope in getting the ball.
Bad mistake on that first volley.
3-1. Washington.
Comes back strong, 15th ace.
Just thinking
3-2.
if-
Washington.
Oh, there he goes.
It almost looks like snow.
Yeah.
Being from Aspen, if you saw that picture, you would think a little
Snow
bit
or
of snow
pollen.
coming. Players will change
3-all.
ends. 3-all. Todd Martin with a good, solid backhand return. He likes going down the line.
I think they're waving goodbye to that bit of blue, saying hello to the darker skies. But you know, this can prey on their minds as well. You know, I mean, some people can just block it out. Other people are more worried about, oh, how many more points we're going to get in before it rains.
Going in the locker room with a 2-1 lead is a lot bigger than
4-3.
obviously being
Martin.
down. It totally changes the circumstance. Washington hit the good slice approach. What happened with his volley took his eye off the ball. He can't even believe it. Pressure gets to him. So Todd Martin now with the mini break.
4-3 in the tiebreak.
Wait, please. Wait.
Sixteenth ace for
Is that
Todd
2
Martin.
aces in this tiebreak?
Yes,
5-3.
Came it.
Martin.
a crucial time.
So he's got one more serve.
It's starting to come down harder, the rain.
Bit off the frame. Todd Martin, I think, imagined that was going to come back over the net.
6-3. Martin.
Fortunately for him, landed in the tape. And now 3 set points against Malavia Washington. He's got 2 serves. It's pretty standard stuff, isn't it? More often than not, Malavia Washington has been going to Martin's forehand.
6-4. Martin.
He gets the serve right down the center line and just drops a forehand volley.
So when he serves to this side, he goes down more often than not to the backhand side. Twice out of every 3 times. It's close. Oh dear. I was just thinking this is a sort of rally that Todd Martin had here on many occasions yesterday against Tim Henman.
6-5, Martin.
This time he found the net. Now, he has 2 serves, but he's got to win it on this first one. I think he brought his head down a little bit on that serve. Second serve. Washington with a chance. Washington with a big chance. He's 6 double fault.
6-all.
That is amazing. He has served for the first set at 5-3, served for this set at 5-3. He had 3 set points granted, a couple of them were in Washington's serve, but then he can close it out, be up 2 sets to 1. He's hit 16 aces in this match, and he throws in a double fault.
2 aces in this tiebreak.
And then comes back with
That's
that.
typical, isn't it? That is that. I would have put money on that. I really would have put money on
7-6,
that.
Martin.
See, now you can do it. It's like missing a short putt. Then you take the ball back to the spot and hit it again. Take it easy and it goes in. Because second time it always works.
Second time it doesn't matter as much.
Second time it doesn't matter at all. Although of course it did there. Now it's just a question of who gets 2 clear. Well, he's done it the hard way.
And the rain is starting to come
Third set,
down. I'd be
Martin.
surprised
7
if they
games to 6.
continue. They have
Ladies and
suspended
gentlemen,
play.
Suspended.
Now a long delay or a short delay, we're not quite sure. They'll go off. Todd Martin is 2 sets to 1 up. After 2 hours, 30 minutes of play. The net's coming down. Posts are going to be laid out. Off goes the umpire's chair. On comes the cover. And Todd Martin is up 2 sets to 1. If he gets through to play Krajicek, and they had Marc Rosset in the chair, they'd have the 3 biggest people in London, all on centre court at once.
Lot 15.
He's 6'8",
6'6".
6'6". Krajicek's only 6'5".
He doesn't look that tall, though. He carries it well.
Yeah.
Krajicek looks big. It's good. Love 30, Todd Martin now. In trouble, first game out for him on his serve.
Lot 30.
Washington's so quick to the ball. And his backswing, he has a huge backswing, but quick release when he hits the ball.
(15-13).
Serve struck at 113 miles per hour. His average is 110. This match is particularly difficult, the semifinals, for all these 4 players, because they all know they can win the tournament and they want to get to the finals. They want to give their careers that opportunity, and so they're not playing their best tennis. 18 aces for Todd Martin.
40-30.
Krajicek or Stoltenberg may play their best tennis when they come out.
I can't see Krajicek, even if he wins, playing better than when he beat Pete Sampras.
No.
Get
Do
Martin.
you agree?
I don't know. I mean, I think Krajicek's performance
One game.
against Sampras was as good as any performance we've seen in the tournament. I don't know whether he'd be able to equal that. I hope he does. I think the one thing that came out of that match is that, you know, for whatever, I mean, Sampras was gracious in defeat, as you'd expect, but I mean, in all honesty, he was beaten. It wasn't as though he had a terrible day at the office. He, you know, nothing happened to him like it did to Boris Becker, going out with injury. Krajicek just had the game for him.
15 love.
They played 4 times before, shared 2 wins apiece. So it wasn't as though it was totally out of the blue. It's there, but I think it's going to be a great contest because Stoltenberg has disposed of Goran Ivanisevic, who had a great serve. Krajicek's got a great serve. So Stolten, you know, they're a sort of similar, you know, they've got strengths that might make it a very good close match.
Washington with his 9th ace. Todd Martin.
30-15.
During the rain delay, he should have talked to his coach because Washington's been serving out to the forehand every single time in the deuce court, and yet he's not moving over. Martin went with the touch shot instead of really going after the forehand. Perhaps this would have been a good time to go right at the body, but he did not get there in time. Couldn't hit a topspin forehand, so he had to opt for the block.
(40-30).
Too tough. Very sprightly Maravilla Washington.
Washington leads by 2 games
2-1.
to 4 sets. (15 love).
Second serve ace.
So it was. 20 aces in all for Todd Martin. Todd Martin took it on the fly and then hit it straight at Washington. Might as well have let it bounce.
Todd Martin has difficulties picking up the very low returns.
30-15. (40-15). Again, Martin.
Good wide swinging serve. Todd Martin mixes those up pretty well. His direction of serves is almost equal. Somebody actually counts these things, but 28 have gone to the forehand on that side and 27 down the middle. And that would have been an ace had he not touched it. I suppose that's obvious to say, isn't it? It was a service winner. That's the one thing we don't actually have on our little stats monitor, service winners.
I bet you I can find it.
Oh, there we go.
First service.
15, 16, 17, 18.
Unreturned serves. Right there.
Is that the same as service winners?
Yes. And it's different than aces. Because there's aces up there.
Right.
15 all.
You see, they're pretty well equal. In fact, Washington has got more unreturned serves than Todd Martin, 38 to 34.
He's got a brilliant backhand cross court. He starts with his backswing high, brings it down.
30,
He's
15.
able to get a lot of topspin on it and dips it right at the feet of Martin. Leaning backwards on that, putting a lot of pressure on his left leg.
Just inside the line.
40, 15.
Well, thanks to Andrea Jaeger surfing the internet, I'm now lost in amazement at all these facts. I'm totally and utterly confused. It's gone over. Washington holds. 3-2. Just landed in.
Love.
Well, I don't think they can argue about it too much.
Well, it
What's
lands
this?
right in the corner. No question about that at all.
That's well in.
First service.
You're not going to exactly going to have a stand-up fight between these two over it anyway, are you?
Never. Washington doesn't even look up on that call. Doesn't want to make eye contact with Todd Martin. It could have been wide, but it was not long. Here's another look. Oh.
Couldn't see it. We're certainly not going to get an overrule that far from the chair. Wow. Shots like that don't need any second look. That was well in the sideline and hit with terrific power. Look at that. Again, not a big swing on the shot.
30.
Right at the body of Washington. The serve where Martin got past, he hit it at 103 miles per hour. The last serve struck at 112 miles per hour.
40, 30.
And he changes it onto the backhand side. We were saying up until that point, Martin had hit every single serve to Washington's backhand. every serve in the fourth set. Well, he tries those little finesse shots a lot, and he's got a pretty low percentage of success on them. Deuce. Martin, 2-3. Fourth set, he's up 2 sets to 1.
Advantage Martin.
Jumped on that backhand.
He seemed to make contact a little bit too early. It's a very compact swing, isn't it?
It really is. Todd Martin doesn't do enough with his first volley. Here, he closed in, but you have to stick your racket out. A lot of strength in that shot, powerful legs. Washington helps him with that passing shot. Back to deuce.
Advantage Martin.
Well, I don't think they're in any danger of leaping into action immediately. Maybe the director knows something we don't. Uh-oh. See, he can see that, we can't.
Looks pretty dark. It's in.
Deuce.
Todd Martin tried to kick it up high to the Washington backhand. He did not get that extra bit on it. Slow coming in, so now back to deuce. That's a 7th return winner for Washington. Both players even. He has a lot more success going right in the body, but towards the backhand side of Washington. It's easier to do that on the deuce court than it is on the ad side. The return possibly could have gone long. Todd Martin did not want to take any chances and sprays a forehand volley. On the big points, he's not as tight emotionally as someone like Pete Sampras.
No, he's missed it. No, it's in.
Advantage Washington.
Just on the line.
Fifth set, here we come.
Todd Martin pushed the backhand volley.
Game Washington.
Didn't have enough confidence
Washington
in
leads
it.
by 4 games to 2.
Washington picks up the low volleys much better than Todd Martin. He comes in, it's
15
low, scoops it up. And just has a stronger arm. It's a bad patch in the court. That's the most worn out area.
Oh. 30-15.
Clips the line. What a shot by Washington. Just enough underspin on it. Actually went in the
40-15.
opposite direction of Martin.
Well, Washington, when he plays like this, is a lot more convincing than Todd Martin.
He is. That's his 49th clean winner, although Todd Martin's had 59. But when you look at the error category, Todd Martin 82, well above Washington at 71.
$40-30.
Well, that was certainly a good service game for Malavia Washington.
5, please. $15 love.
Few times that
30
Todd Martin's been successful on the drop volleys.
$40 love. Game Martin. Washington leads 5 games to 3.
Holds to love, Todd Martin.
So how can Todd Martin have about a 10-minute game